We are gonna go to Angel Island. This is kind of like the Ellis Island of the West Coast. You guys can hear me. It's very loud. I'm in the city in San Francisco right now. I'm actually near where you get on a ferry behind me to go to Alcatraz. But we're not going to Alcatraz today. We are gonna go to Angel Island. I want to interject for just a second. If you guys just stumbled on this video because you are going to San Francisco soon, I want to let you know I have a bunch of San Francisco travel guide type videos, including my own walking tour that I made up, and it is not going to take you to the typical places you may expect, but the places I think you should see if you're coming to San Francisco. I'll explain everything about Angel Island while we're there, but for right now, we're heading to Pier 41 and we're going to take a ferry. I feel like this needs to be said. If you're wondering my opinion about coming to Pier 39 when visiting San Francisco, I think unless you have a love affair with sea lions, it's not worth it. But we're going just past Pier 39 to Pier 41. For the record, you should go to Alcatraz. It is worth every penny. It's amazing. The audio tour is awesome. Definitely go. San Francisco, that tiny one is Alcatraz, and then there's Angel Island. There is nobody in line. So to get to Angel Island, you use the blue and gold fleet, and you have to do round trip. It's $19.50 per person, so about $20 a person round trip. We packed our own lunches, we brought our own coffee, brought our own water, so we're trying to do this as cheaply as possible. But I'm very interested in seeing the immigration station at Angel Island, which I think is an extra $5 per person to get in. I'm going to happily pay it. I'm excited to go see. There's a lot of stuff to do about Chinese immigration on the island that we'll get more into later on. That's Coit Tower in the distance right there. And Pier 39 is famous for sea lions, so that's all of them laying on those little wooden platforms right there, and you can see all the people lined up watching them. I have to admit, it's pretty fun to watch them, but there's also one in the water right there. Also, if you guys are wondering why everyone is all dressed up in sweatshirts, I saw pea coats, winter coats, jeans, the whole 9 yards. It's because it's summer in San Francisco. It's late July. Also, the main thing I was trying to research before we came was, do I need to buy my tickets in advance? The answer is no. I don't think you really do. Just make sure that you show up early enough to get in line. There's no reservations for a time, so you have to make sure you get in line so you make it onto the ferry, because they'll hit capacity, but they won't sell out of tickets. But I don't get the feeling that this is like the top tourist attraction in the bay. You know, I think a lot of people are trying to go to Alcatraz. And this is the peak of summer, so this is a good indicator. Of course, you can't see the Golden Gate Bridge. It's foggy. This is the epitome of Bay Area weather. We've got the dark fog covering this island, and then look right there, there's the North Bay with their bright blue skies. So basically we got out at the cove and then we had left onto the North Ridge Trail, and now, as you can probably tell from my voice, I'm climbing a bunch of stairs. We're going uphill, we're gonna hit the paved road, then we're gonna go to the immigration station. That's a steep hill. I recommend very good walking shoes and bring your own water. And also, there's one cafe on the island, cash only. It's like $12 to $14 for a sandwich, so you might consider bringing your own lunch. The views are pretty cool. By the way, if you don't feel like walking to the immigration station, there is a tram that goes there. But I read conflicting things online. Some people said not worth it, some people said totally worth it. We opted for the walk. Okay, I'm catching glimpses of the different buildings, so I'm thinking we're getting there soon. The gist of it is that this is kind of like the Ellis Island of the West Coast. So a lot of immigrants came here in, I think it was the late 1800s. Maybe I should double check that and put it on the screen just in case. And it said over 1 million immigrants were processed from about 80 countries. So European immigrants who came here had a very easy process. They got, you know, inspected on the ship, asked some questions. They were very rarely detained on the island. They were mostly like let go to come immigrate into the US. However, Chinese immigrants did not have the same treatment. There was a lot of discrimination, including an act that was passed. I'll put the name of it on the screen. It was just straight up racist discrimination against Chinese people is what it was. This state park has gone through a lot of effort to document that history, because I think the best way to not repeat history is to remember it. So we're basically gonna go look at the immigration facility where a lot of people were processed, and I believe we might be able to see barracks where Chinese immigrants were detained, many for a couple days, couple weeks, but some people apparently were detained for up to 2 years. All right, this is the entrance into the immigration station. I'm standing at the base of the steps up to the immigration station, which I believe is also like part of the detention barracks, but it is $5 to get in per person, so we're gonna pay that extra $5. They also do guided tours and it's $7, so the guided tour, it looks like it's gonna have a ton of school kids in it, so I'm leaning towards the just regular old museum admission. They open in like a couple minutes, so we're just waiting right now. All right guys, we're gonna get started on the self-guided tour.
It's largely here because of the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 that banned all Chinese from coming into the country, but there were some exceptions. If you were a student or professor or a tourist or a rich merchant or diplomat, or if your parent was an American citizen, then you could come to the country. The 1906 earthquake in San Francisco burned down all the paper records, which included marriage licenses, birth certificates, all of that. So there was no way of telling who was actually an American citizen. So that's when the immigration officials built this place in 1910 to interrogate any immigrants coming in to the West. This room, also the top floor, was the Chinese men's barracks. It was separated by race. This room was healthy for about 50 or 60 men. There were over 200 men in this room. In this room, a large majority of what there is to see is the Chinese poetry on the walls. It's all over the walls. There's over 200 poems in this entire building. It's written by very educated Chinese folks, very sophisticated poetry. They would do Chinese calligraphy on the walls in brush paint, and then they'd carve into the wall with a knife. And the immigration officials felt that it was graffiti. And so they covered it with spackle, or like wood fill, and then paint over it. There's 7 layers of paint on the wall. The original color was green. And now the wood fill is actually shrinking, and that's why you can see a lot of the poetry coming out. It's 100-year-old poetry. So you can't hide history. These walls do speak.
The Americans did not allow me to land. I was ordered to be deported. When the news was told, I was frightened and troubled about returning to my country. We Chinese of a weak nation can only sigh at the lack of freedom.
So this room was full of beds, and you can see the holes in these where there were other beds. And there were more poles too, and you can see the holes in the ground where those other poles used to be. This was full of beds.
夜靜微聞，風潮聲，形影相情見景榮。雲霧潺潺也暗天，松聲唧唧月微明。悲苦相連天相顯，受人獨坐倚窗邊。
So she came to Angel Island during our centennial in 2010 to pay us a visit. And she's the one who donated this picture to us. And this lady right here is her.
Everybody's happy. 落到期間，而家西式紅，everything is westernized. 切咩嗰個錦啊，切錦肉肉變腳變魚龍。
How many bathrooms for 600 people? 2? Oh my god.
美洲金銀實可愛，銳古求榮動情來。不第千金曾用盡，黎刻面目為家哉。
So as you can see, Angel Island has a really troubled history, and the Chinese immigration history there in particular is really interesting. But I'm really glad I got to go see everything firsthand and learn more about it. I've been wanting to learn more about Chinese immigration into the West since I came back from China. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that I went there. I definitely recommend a trip to Angel Island. So I'm gonna play the rest of the clips that I have from Angel Island and talk you through a couple things along the way. The first thing I wanna mention is that Angel Island is a lot more than just the immigration station. There's a lot of US history there, and there's a lot of nature trails and a lot of opportunity for like having a picnic with your family, camping overnight. There's even a little beach area. I saw like kids swimming in it, which was kind of crazy to me. In hindsight, I would have absolutely taken the tram, because what that enables you to do is see the whole island and not have to like try to catch the very last ferry. So we got there on the first ferry, and then we left on like the first afternoon ferry. Your other option is bikes. You can rent bikes on Angel Island, but it's not cheap. And it also says that bikes have to be returned by 3 p.m. So keep that in mind. I think one of the best parts of going to Angel Island is the ferry ride. I thoroughly enjoyed seeing all the sights, especially like seeing, I don't know, just the fog, like coming back into the fog was so crazy. You see the city skyline, all the bridges. It's just really, really cool. So I don't know, this whole trip was feeling very full circle because, as many of you guys may know, we are actually moving soon. We're moving out of the Bay Area and we're moving to Asheville, North Carolina. So it's gonna be a huge change, and I'm really glad we crossed this off our list of things that we wanted to see. Next week, I have absolutely no idea how I'm gonna get a video up. Things are really crazy right now. My mom's in town this weekend. I have to go in the office more than normal next week. We are packing up this big like shipping container thing next week. I'm also going down to Southern California. I'm flying down there to see my grandparents. It's all happening very fast. So I think I might end up doing a live stream, but it might not be until the 21st-ish. So I don't know, stay tuned. I'll try to put up a really short video maybe that week. Be sure to go follow me on my Facebook page if you want to stay up to date. And real quick before you go, I want to know in the comments, what is the coolest island you ever went to? I think my top pick would probably have to be Koh Lanta in Thailand. That was just crazy. But that's everything. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? The button's right down there. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.